The major goals that I have today is to help your hearts become open so that you may feel the amount of love that your body is designed to feel. One of the more difficult challenges that human beings face is not that you do not want to feel love, but instead that you are not capable of processing the amount of love that you are being sent. My goal is to help you to process that intense amount of love so that you may be capable of holding it. Do you ever feel that sometimes you know you are loved and you know you love someone, but you feel separated from this emotion? As if you are dull or icy, as if there is a disconnect or a window between your true emotion and what you are feeling. This is simply an imaginary illness. It is a sense of disconnect that happens in your heart and in your mind that does not allow you to feel love to the greatest extent that you are capable. That is what I want to heal today. I would like you to think of something pure that you love very much, like an animal or a child, a being that you feel is good and simple. And I would like you to hold them in your mind and let yourself be filled with the love that you feel when thinking about that gentle being. We are often injured when we go through life. It is part of what it is to be incarnate. And this can make holding that love very difficult. But this illness is not something that is in your body, but instead something that is in your mind and heart. And that is what I am healing today. It will not eradicate your challenges or the trauma you have faced, but it will begin to ease the energetic blockage that is created from those situations. Continue to hold on to your image, or the feeling that you feel when you think of this pure being. Do you feel how you may begin to have this sensation of upheaval as you hold on to this sensation of love? That is because the sensation of love begins to break down the trauma by nature. It begins to break down the borders and the boundaries. Love is in fact very difficult to overcome. It is stronger than most other events. It is stronger than other emotions. Therefore, when you hold on to it, it'll slowly begin to eradicate the things that are holding you back. It is by nature what it is to love. Now you must know that there is another kind of love that you are not often receiving, although it is around you all the time. There are spirits that are sending you love, so many that you cannot even fathom the amount. But you see, many of you have a resistance in your spiritual mind that is not allowing the love to flow as quickly and easily as it is natural for your body to receive. I am clearing this so that you may simply have the flow of the love from spirit come into your body and into your spiritual mind. This is very different than knowing spirit exists and that we love you. It is more that I am helping your body to process this love. When you feel love, it is not simply the feeling of being in love. It is not simply the feeling of finding something pleasing, desirable, or wanting it near. It is not simply the love that is sacrifice and giving. It is so much more than any of these. The love that I speak of, the love that Spirit speaks of, is not simple, nor is it basic. It is not uncomplicated, nor is it simply something you have felt. It is much more than this. It is the understanding of our connectedness that creates this sensation of true love. It is that there are threads that wind through all beings, and those threads are the same thread. When I look at myself in the mirror, I am looking at your face. To feel enamored with something is to feel that it is delightful to you, to feel that you treasure it, cherish it, understand it, that you would give of yourself to be near it. This is simply human. What I talk about is divine love. The love that is greater than what we feel for human beings, and greater than what we feel for spirit, and greater than what we can feel for our entire planet, our ecosystem, other worlds, and other minds. It is so much greater than any of these because it is a divine force of the universe, as if it is a gravity, as if it is the sensation of life turned into being. That is the love I speak of. And this is why it is complicated, because in your small human mind that is simply stuck as an incarnate being, you cannot always process the magnitude of this love. Again, it is more of a force of nature than it is an emotion. I am talking about the force of nature. When spirit sends you love, they are sending you the awareness of this force of nature. That is why you may begin to cry if you feel it. It is not that it is negative, and not that you do not feel love normally, but instead that the force of nature that is true love, the force of nature that is true connectedness and understanding, that I see exactly who you are because it is exactly who I am. That is the love I speak of. I would like you to imagine that you are not solid, that you are not an incarnate being. You are simply a moving being of light and energy, sound and smell, an energy being that is more experience and feeling and truth than self. As you hold on to this version of yourself, this wispy, soft, fuzzed out version, I want you to imagine that it is slowly blending with your surroundings. You are part of the chair you sit on, and the chair is part of the ground it rests on. The air is not separate from you. Are there other beings in your home? Imagine that you become so diffused that you cannot help but blend in with them. And as you blend in with them, they blend back in with you and the chair and the ground. They blend with the air and with gravity. When you breathe, you all breathe as one. When you feel, you all feel as one. Imagine now that you are still expanding, diffusing, and moving into other beings, your neighbors, the people who live down the street. But it does not have to be simply by location. Imagine the people you feel close to, the people you have shared experiences with. You are blending into them and they are blending into you. And so when you feel your love for your friend or parent or child, you're feeling your love for yourself. And now I want you to imagine that the very earth that your house sits on, the very ground that your feet plant on, is also soft, diffused and part of you, blending into your energy. And you are expanding to fill the entire planet, not just the beings, but the earth itself, the very soil and trees and oceans. And it feels as if you are so big and so small at the same time. All of the world is you, and you are all of the world, and yet you are simply nothing as well. And you see, that is only the physical. Now imagine that you feel our love. You are blending into the spirits around you, all beings that have ever been, all beings that will ever be. You feel my love, and you blend with me. And you feel the love of all of the beings around you, your guides and angels, your past loved ones, the children you have not born, all of the beings that could ever be, have ever been, and will ever become. Blend with you, and I blend with you. This moves us through time, through dimensions, through the physical. All versions of all realities are blended together. And imagine that through all of these connected moments, all of this blending, every place that your diffused self has radiated, every moment, every molecule is love. Every moment, every molecule is love. This is the love that we feel when we think of you. It is easy in this world to feel that you are alone. But you are not alone, because you are always connected to all things. And you are always connected to this sensation of love, the same way that gravity weighs on all of us. When you allow yourself to be consumed by the sensation of oneness and the sensation of love that is born of this oneness, then you are aware of what is. It is not that this love is greater. It is simply that this love is. And as you connect into it, you are part of it. It is always accessible and always being sent to you. It is never ending, the infinite in its truth. But you see, the challenge is not just knowing the love is there, but allowing you to feel it, to fully let your heart accept that there is no boundary, there is no me and you, but simply the us that is love. And that is why I heal you first, and during, and after, because it is not easy for incarnate beings to become complete. But this love completes you. To stay connected to this is to stay connected to your spiritual center. If you feel that you are straying from it, if you feel mortal and limited, connect back to this love, because this love is the connection that all spirit holds with each other and with you. It is the through line, the thread that weaves through all of carnation. There have been many desires in this world to help people feel this love. I am not the first, nor will I be the last to talk of it. But it is the message that must constantly be respoken, because the truth is, your human race has not learned it. It is not as simple as knowing we are one. It is instead understanding that there is no division, and that without that division, love is the unifying factor. It is not an emotion, but a state of being. Fear is not the absence of love. It is not the opposite of love. It is not something that is bad or wrong or to be condemned. It is simply the feeling that you are separated from love. But you see, you are not. It is an illusion. You may be afraid of a dream and yet know it is not true when you wake up, but it does not feel any less real to your mind. That is what fear is. It is the sensation that we are separated. For you see, if you are afraid of losing someone, you are simply pretending that you are not that person. If you are feeling fear because you have been harmed, that is normal. Many people have harm. It is part of what it is to come to this planet. But you must recognize that that fear of being harmed is because you know harm exists. And because it exists, you are part of harm. You are both the one who has done the harming and the one who has been harmed, because we are all part of everything. This may be upsetting at first, because we like to think of ourselves as separate from that which we do not like. But you must recognize we are all that which we do not like and all that which we admire. There is no division. It is not simply no division of all that is good. It is no division of all that is good and all that is bad. It is simply that it is all one. There is no this or that. There is no mine or yours. There is no you have hurt me and I have been hurt. But instead, that hurt arises because it is natural and it is part of the world. And you see, that does not condone it. That does not say we should move towards it, but that we know it does indeed exist, and it exists in the oneness that is all of us. And that fear is a reflection of knowing that within this oneness there is that which is not good. There is that which is harmed and harmful. Knowing that causes us to feel unstable, protective, and worried. That is normal and natural. But that does not stop you from feeling the love that is oneness. You can say, I am living in this piece of the oneness right now, and I am aware that this piece would like to not be harmed. And you see, that may cause fear if you feel that is not going to happen. But that is all right. You may be afraid and still know that you are one with all beings and all love, that you are receiving the intense love of spirit in every moment, and yet are still afraid of being harmed because that does still exist in the oneness. Fear creates a blockage in our ability to receive in the feeling way. It will stop you from being able to perceive that which is love, and that can be very disheartening. It can make you feel isolated and alone, because although you know the love is there, you cannot feel it as deeply as you know you should. You know you are able to. You know that you are wanting to. And so you must stop and look at your fear and say, why do I feel that because this exists, I must hold it so close that it is a film over my heart? Why must I hold this fear so close to me that it infiltrates my very essence? Why can I not say this fear exists, and it exists in my body because it exists in this universe, and it exists in all universes because it is natural, a simple expression of self that is an expression of the oneness. But it does not negate the love. The love may infiltrate all places and be felt deeply, and the fear may still exist. You must simply allow it not to shroud your heart, but instead to say it is just part of what it is. As you sit with fear, you might begin to sit with hate. This is another thing that many people feel is not good. But I want you to know hate exists. It is the repulsion of that which is harmful. It is the part of you that says, I am not going to be harmed so fiercely, or I will protect this being from being harmed so fiercely that I have created a shield that is palpable, that is solid in its hate. I have created a defense line that cannot be penetrated. This is hate. And hate also exists in the universe and does not negate love. For you see, it is love that causes you to hate, and it is love that allows the hate to exist. But it is also the love that is part of the hate. And in fact, hate is but a different side of love. So when you feel anger, when you feel hatred, and when you feel fear, you are also feeling love. They are the same thing in different forms, just as you are the same you when you are awake and asleep. It is not that you should indulge in your hate or anger. These are not things that you want to cultivate because they will cause you pain, and they will cause you to feel more isolated than you are. But it is important to note that you will experience them. And when you do, they are simply a different expression of this great love. I would like to talk on how trauma confuses the mind. When we live through a lifetime, we will inevitably feel things that are traumatic for our minds and souls. They will leave scars and marks. This is unavoidable. No being has ever existed that is not in connection with this trauma. It is helpful to identify it, and it is helpful to cradle it. It is helpful to let yourself know that it is not something that is wrong with you, but again, part of the infinite that is, and simply part of the human experience. But when you experience these traumas, as you will, it will slowly create a barrier between you and this sense of oneness. When you were very small, you were able to feel this very clearly. But now that you have experienced more trauma, you cannot. That is natural. It is your job to work with your own self, your traumas and your mind, to allow this barrier to thin. Some of that must be done on an energetic level. That is why I am healing you so much today. But some of it must also be done on a mental level. You must question this trauma, question the validity of this trauma, and question how it has changed you. You must hold it and look at it, analyze it and take it apart. You must also cherish it. Say, I love this part of myself despite the fact it causes pain, because this is part of the love that is infinite. It is not the same as saying it is all right that I was hurt. It is all right that this trauma occurred. It is probably not all right. But you see, it is not about what is right or not all right. It is simply about the fact it is part of what is, and the acceptance of that, and the acceptance that it has touched you, and the knowledge that you must work with it. And as you work with it, it will begin to not harm you anymore, but simply be something you work with. Another factor, like needing to eat constantly. Allow yourself to work with your traumas and to recognize when they create a division between you and the oneness that is, you and the infinite being of love, you and the sensation that we are all one and everything is one and you are all everything and everything is you. Notice where your trauma stops you from connecting. That is a secret that many people have not taken time to learn, that your trauma can be the barrier between you and the infinite.